All right, I got one more video. It is another Black Ops 6 review. This time by a veteran of the Call of Duty community. I'm going to need to move my camera here, and that is Drifter. Well, you can't see him. I expected you to be able to see him, but he took my spot. Okay. Drifter. I haven't seen this video yet. I know he very heavily is talking about optimization just because I checked this out. So this is optimization and packet burst, and that was my biggest complaint about the Black Ops 6 beta as well. If you've seen my video, it's called like, should you buy Call of Duty Black Ops 6 or something like that. That's one of the biggest things that I talk about. Am I going to be doing Cold War Zombies Easter eggs before Black Ops 6? Maybe, if we have time. There's a bunch of stuff I want to do, but yeah, that's one of them. So we will see. I'm not going to promise anything, but all right.
Today I'm reviewing the Black Ops 6 beta, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And
I think he was the first person to do that.
Quite a lot of ugly from the Black Ops.
Oh, I didn't expect that, Drifter. You are the first review that I have watched for Black Ops 6 that said there is too much bad stuff. Most people are really excited. This is interesting. I'm interested.
Beta, I want to apologize ahead of time if my gameplay looks choppy. That's just how my beta ran on both weekends. So if you see some frame skips and some stuttering, that's not the playback on your phone or PC. That's just how the game played.
Yeah, there is frame. I didn't have these crazy frame skips, but everyone else did.
Mix and match.
I had packet burst though.
This time because I played more Black Ops 6 beta than any particular game I have in a long time, with multiple inputs.
So he did like it.
Machines and different configurations to really get a feel for it. I streamed it a whole bunch. I pushed myself to be active on this product and took some risk with my health. And it was a rough experience. So today we're going to be doing the good, bad, and ugly format. But instead of starting with the good, we're going to be starting out with the ugly, because the ugly is very important this year. But I'm going to do two quick good shout outs for myself before we get into all the negativity. First of all, if you want to talk about this or anything else, we have an extremely active Discord community, which is linked down there below. And second of all, the next video that you're likely to see on this channel is a massive project that I have been working on for multiple months. It's one of the highest quality things I've ever put on this channel.
Interesting.
It's a manga review. It'll have a thumbnail similar to what you see on
the
screen.
It's right behind me.
Please check it out. That's really the one that I've been working super hard on, and I just hope it does well. So hope some of you guys check it out. All right,
check out his Drifter's channel.
So let's talk about the ugly of Black Ops 6. Then the ugliest thing about this game is its optimization. My game ran extremely poorly and was borderline unplayable on both weekends. Albeit the second weekend was considerably worse than the first. The first weekend was kind of a rough experience. It was choppy water.
First weekend was good for me.
Was a full-blown tempest or hurricane. We're talking system-wide PC failures, PlayStation 5 failures. We're talking crashes. We're talking hitches. We're talking free.
This is the... Did anyone else have this? Like PC crashes, PlayStation crashes, everything? Did anybody else have this?
Freezing, micro stutters, black screen, audio problems, and on PC, it stressed my PC out so much it would disable my USB ports midstream.
Okay, I did hear about the USB port thing happening, but it might have been from Drifter on Twitter. It might have been.
It was so bad, it was crashing my stream, and I had to constantly reboot the stream. The experience
Vegeta, you did
of
or
this
didn't?
optimization was
almost everyone is saying no except for you.
Negatively skews the rest of this entire review because I never really fully got to experience.
Okay, so you got black screens. I had one crash on PS5, but otherwise no. So I think there is something wrong with Drifter's computer. PC skill issue. Yeah, no, 24/7 packet loss. Okay, yes, that's what I had, 100%, and it fixed it a little bit with a cable. What he is explaining, I did not have. Your PS4 gave you one blue screen crash. Okay, so a little bit, but not what he's describing.
The game was supposed to be played. I just kind of got this choppy, buggy mess. But instead of rambling, let's talk details. First thing about optimization that's messed up is that the minimum install size for the Black Ops 6 beta is 140 gigabytes.
Which is
Call
wild.
of Duty as a game is just gigantic. If you install the whole package, it can be pushing 250 gigabytes. I had to delete other games just to be able to play this beta on my PC. And this is insane to me because Call of Duty is bigger than any other game by a modern game by a factor of like 3 to 4 depending on the game you're choosing.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
so big. I wonder if it's a deliberate strategy to try to monopolize your hard drive space so that you can't even
I have never heard that, but that might not be wrong.
install other games. That's a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but man, it feels that way because there is no reason for the game to be as outrageously huge as it is. I mean, it's
Tinfoil
not like
hat.
it's got a
We need to-
500-hour
I should make a
campaign.
tinfoil hat
It's bigger than
when we watch these
Cyberpunk.
type of
It's
videos.
bigger than Baldur's Gate. That's nuts. And on top of that, booting Black Ops 6 or any COD game now requires that you go to the COD HQ.
Yeah, this is stupid. This
And
is
then
like,
once you're in the COD HQ, then you boot the game, and all it does is shut down the HQ and then launch a second EXE for the other
Yeah,
game. But
stupid.
you need the HQ to confirm that you own the game, and then once the game boots, you're going to have to restart it.
Update requires
several
restart.
times. You'll have to do shaders. You'll have to update requires restart. Game requires restart. Players.
does anybody have any t-shirts that they sell that are just update requires restart? Because if nobody has that, I need to do that. Frost, thank you for the 100 biddies, dude. But seriously, does anybody have those shirts?
That's something. For me, it was
looking
pretty
it up.
normal to have to reboot the game about 4 times before I actually got into the games, and then I could start installing shaders. Shaders take forever, but that's nothing new. Once I'm in a game, the experience was one of pretty frequent frame drops and micro stutters. And then with Weekend 2, I started getting a very choppy experience in terms of lag, and my overall PC performance went really
Not really.
downhill. I'm going to try not to curse during this review. I had the black screen glitch. I had the game hitching. I had it freezing where I was able to do inputs. I just
Okay. They have like this shirt. Okay. I'm gonna work on that tonight.
just couldn't see what was going on. I had to where it won't load matches, and I have to reboot and do that restart thing several times. It actually hitched so bad.
I will come up with some concepts and then show you guys on stream tomorrow if I have time tonight.
That it disabled all of the USB
figure
ports
something out.
on my computer in some sort of weird emergency power saving operation, which means that in the middle of a match, I would have no mouse input, no keyboard input, no headset input. And since I was streaming, all my webcams would freeze, my OBS would go crazy. I'd have to reboot everything in order to get the stream back up because it would just kind of nuke everything. And for those of you that were on stream, you saw this unpleasant process and you saw me getting mad about it. And I want to be clear that I'm not just talking about PC problems here. This happened on J-Hub's PlayStation 5 as well. I watched a bunch of other people streaming on their PlayStation 5s. I read the subreddits very
I don't have the t-shirt, but here are some bits to invest in your t-shirt startup business.
I appreciate it, Jaden. I'm not saying it's going to be a business. I'm just literally going to make a t-shirt on some website and we'll see if it sells or not. At one point I did have merch. Not enough people bought it, so I didn't continue on with that one. Do I know Drifter personally? I know you're going through house issues during Cold War. So yeah, I've met Drifter several times. Really nice guy, mainly at Call of Duty events, but yeah. We got the hype train going too, guys.
very negative. Xbox streams as well. Everybody everywhere is stuttering and freezing and crashing, and there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason why. Some PCs are fine, some are Crash City. Some PlayStations are fine, some are Crash Mega City.
I think
don't know what
OmniMovement
the
will
rhyme
fit
or
well
reason
with
is.
2020
Some people
Verdansk.
played this and had no problems.
Yeah.
A lot of people had major problems. I thought the problem was me. I thought it was a me problem. I thought I was just having this
Well,
problem because I was
I think it might be partially you, Drifter. I think there was definitely some huge optimization issues, especially with packet burst. But what you're describing PC and PlayStation wise, you appear to be the only person. I had 2 crashes. My game crashed twice. My game crashes when I play Modern Warfare 3. My game crashes when my PC crashes when I play other games. It happens. Twice in 24 hours isn't really something I'm worried about, especially in a beta. The problems you're having are much, much bigger, and I don't even know what to say or where to start with that.
playing on a 3070 Ti and an i7 processor on my small form factor bed PC. And I was also doing like recording on OBS and stuff. So I decided for the second weekend, I would instead either not use OBS or do it down to just the bare minimum, either recording or streaming. It still crashed. It was still a mess. The PC still got overloaded. So I tried to install this on a different PC that
I did have one issue when I was recording with OBS. I had to use a little bit more strict of settings for my recordings because it was a little choppy, but that's
has
it.
a 4090 and an i9 processor. But after 4 attempts to boot Black Ops 6, I could not get the game to boot and begin to install shaders, so I just gave up. And a part of me wants to blame my PCs, but they play every other game just fine, such as Battlefield 2042 in high settings, the finals, ultra settings, Boulder Gate
Call of Duty
3,
has a big
ultra
issue with that,
settings,
like
Splitgate,
even the
ultra
packet
settings,
burst, but again,
Apex,
that's
high
server
settings.
side and
And they
issues
do
with
all
that.
of this at 120 FPS while OBS is at least double encoding, and none of these other games hitch like Call of Duty. And all of these games have install sizes that are like a quarter that of Call of Duty.
And I've said that I think that's part
Black
of the
Ops
problem
6
with Call of Duty.
appears to be a very CPU intensive game. It's one of a very few modern games that taxes your CPU almost as much as your GPU. And in my case, this was likely overloading the CPU, my processor, and forcing the USB ports to crash. It's a frustrating problem, but it's one that we've had literally since 2019 Call of Duty. And I've been
Interesting.
buying and building a new PC almost every single fall just so that it can play Call of Duty.
I've been there, done
Because
that.
Call of Duty is such a demanding game. You literally need a beast PC every single year to play it at decent quality. And this year, I think I'm done
Frost, you legend, coming in gifting 5 subs, keeping that hype train alive. You mad lad, I appreciate you.
with that. If I can play the finals at 120 FPS, ultra quality, while double
Free
encoding
subs.
streaming and double encoding recording, quad
Appreciate
encoding
you, Frost.
on this little PC without a single frame drop, then I should be able to play Call of Duty on medium settings 120 with none of that other stuff going
True.
on. It shouldn't be, the difference shouldn't be that
Okay,
extreme.
so I don't necessarily
think-
agree with everything that Drifter is saying. Totally. But what he's saying here, where my performance in game, based off of whether I'm using ultra settings or whether I'm using medium settings, isn't a big difference. I'm like, I have a beast of a PC, but there should be a way bigger difference based off of your settings. We got the hype train in coming with Kitty Cat with the 200 bits. Appreciate you guys. You guys are growing mad with this.
A lot of this has to do with the texture streaming that's used in the game. I know for a fact that texture streaming causes people to have packet burst, or I suppose I don't know it for a fact. That's just what everybody in all the comments and Reddit and all the very techie people are saying, that it forces you to download these huge textures mid-game, which causes you to lag, and then tries to install and apply them, which causes the system to hitch.
Yes.
The texture streaming is a genuine problem, and I still don't understand why we have to stream textures when we're already installing like close to 200 gigabytes of stuff on the hard drive. It's baffling. The hard drive space is already gigantic.
Yes.
You shouldn't need to have to stream textures on top of that. But every single time I had to download textures, I would get a packet burst, and it was very unpleasant. It was especially bad on the second weekend. I'm being serious here when I say that the optimization on the
Like,
game across all...
Why is there not an option to either be like, okay, I have a very small hard drive, I need texture streaming, I'm going to choose the small download size, textures will be streamed every time I load the game. Or I have a dedicated hard drive to Call of Duty, I'm going to download all of the textures and never have to worry about texture streaming. Why isn't there that option?
systems was very bad, and this bodes very negatively for the quality of the full release. So my bad section was very, very bad this year. I can also, that was the ugly section. We haven't made it to the bad section. We can also talk about Babylon and Derail being outrageously bad maps.
Those are my 2 favorite maps, but go on.
But let's move into the bad section and just talk about some things that I just generally didn't like. First up is that the Omni movement ended up being overwhelming instead of fun, and this might just be me being a boomer and not being able to adapt, but I felt that I had to push myself very...
All right, this is going to be, I will tell you this right now, this is going to be the first review of Black Ops 6 that is not positive. Every other one that we have watched on the stream has been, as a whole, relatively positive. And yes, in the video we just watched with Nadeshot, he said Babylon might be the best Call of Duty map ever. Yes, Nadeshot did just say that. And now we have Drifter saying Omni movement sucks, Babylon sucks, and Derail are awful. Derail and Babylon were literally my favorite maps. So,
hard in order to just be an average player in Black Ops.
Jesus. Kitty Cat coming in. Gifting 300 biddies, as well as Twitch for some reason coming in, and I don't know how that works. They added 45 bits. What's going on with this? And then user coming
Keeping
in.
the hype train alive. W stream.
And then Frost following it up as well with another 200. You guys keeping the hype train line. Look at you go. You legends. Hype train is still alive. Bumping the level up. We'd love to see it. Appreciate you guys.
Black Ops 6. I was
Train
really
map was your
sweating.
favorite
I was
map and people
really
complain about it.
working
I'm
my
with
fingers.
you.
I was really working that brain to try to learn some things.
I'm with you.
And it was genuinely challenging. It was not a very chill experience. The maps in the game were mostly very small and very chaotic. Naturally, the spawn
like
system
that.
is going to be bad on some of the smaller strike maps. That kind of makes sense because they're really designed for 2v2 at most. But the spawns were downright atrocious on Babylon. Babylon was a downright atrocious map to begin with. I must have spawned directly in someone's line of sight about 100 times on that map already, and the game's not even out yet. I would just spawn, and there'd be people
Actually,
looking from their...
solid question. Chat. Just one word answer. Favorite map in the beta. Just one word answer. Keep it simple. I want to be able to read them quick.
Spawn to
Not
my
why,
spawn
just
to
favorite
spawn
map.
kill me off the spawn, and grenades rolling in, or people using the weird
Skyline,
sleeper
Babylon,
agent
Skyline,
to sneak into my
Skyline.
spawn and pretend to be a guy
Babylon.
and then shoot me in the back the very second I'm alive.
Skyline.
I would spawn in Babylon and like immediately have PTSD. I would spawn and just stim and like
Lots of
try to
Skyline.
sprint out of my spawn to live. The spawn system, revenge based, not very good. We need some logic on that. It worked better when people kind of didn't know how to use the maps, but now that people can navigate the maps a
Rewind.
lot faster,
That's-
the spawn system is very wonky. And the problem with the small maps in the revenge spawn system is that it leads to
Frost, you're asking, is it possible that we potentially have packet bursts in the campaign for texture streaming? I guess technically it's possible. If that happens, that'll be a big issue in my books, and I don't think it will, but we'll have to wait and see.
what Reddit is calling brain rot gameplay. I agree, and we'll move back around on that in a moment. But this very second I get a kill or two in this game, okay? I've killed people, I've got less than half a mag left. I feel like I need to immediately scan around, do a full 360, and make sure that they're not spawning on me or spawning in a place where they can see me or
I
get to
did
me
not
very,
have
very
this issue.
quickly. I feel that Black Ops 6 is nearly unplayable unless you have stims.
Yes.
And fast mags or extended mags, because the reload
Yes.
time is way too slow for this kind of game.
Agreed.
I found myself immediately trying to stim, hide, and reload after every single kill, just praying that the same person I just killed, or perhaps a teammate, wasn't going
So it's you have to manage with your movement where you are and when you are getting into your next gunfight. And I think that is the part that Drifter, it does kind of sound like a skill issue. I wasn't going to say that, but that's the part that Drifter is missing. And that's the part of this game that I actually really, really liked. Is you get into a gunfight and you see two people coming around the corner. You kill one of them, you hop behind a corner, you pop a stim, come back out, kill the other one, then you reload and then get back into the fight for your next one. And yes, I can understand not liking that, but personally, I love it.
to be barreling down on top of me in a quarter of a second, and most of the time I was wrong about that. This leads to extremely fast combat loops. Live, die, repeat. Live, spawn, die, repeat. Over and over and over and over again. Really, really fast. You end up with hundreds of different interactions per map. And it reminds me a little bit more of Shipment gameplay than anything else. If you've played Shipment,
And
most
now-
of the maps in this game all play like slight.
I so strongly disagree with that. They don't all play like Shipment. Babylon, sure. But no, in Shipment, you just have to win gunfights. You don't have options as to how to avoid gunfights, get behind cover. It's just gunfight, 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 gunfight. This game, like, there's things you can do to stay alive longer. Like, yes, it's super fast paced, but it's not like Shipment. I disagree with that.
Bigger versions of Shipment. Now, Redditors have been describing this as TikTok brain rot gameplay because you don't even have enough time to think strategically or plan
disagree.
any moves before enemies are already barreling down on top of you.
Wayne, what's up, dude?
So it's very reminiscent of the dopamine loops that people get stuck in on TikTok, where they're constantly scrolling for that next hit of funny video. Because you just spawn, shoot a guy, probably get shot in the back, repeat, all on a loop. And this could be deliberate. You know, conspiracy theory me could say that it could be deliberately put there to give younger audiences more frequent dopamine hits like they're used to on their social media.
See, I disagree
But
with
for me, I
this.
found it very overwhelming and frustrating.
Yeah, it does
Got
seem
some
slower than Modern Warfare 3. Longer
quickies here in the
TTK.
bad section. First quickie is that the Omni movement system allows people to roll over on their stomachs and still on their backs and stomachs, still having their guns up, which means a lot of people that are alive but prone look like dead bodies, which
and
means I ran
I had that a couple
right
of times.
past a whole ton of people
But you
that
do
were
get
just
used to
laying
that.
prone in a body.
You do get used to
and got
that.
shot with this easy 360-degree tracking that's going on. You guys, if you haven't seen it, you have got to check out Jack Frag's video where he did nothing but lay down all game and let people run right past him, because the game is so fast-paced and so frantic. You do not have time to
I
check
agree
if
with that
that's
one.
a body or a guy just laying.
And again, going back to Nadeshot's video, what would fix that? Player outlines. They're laying down, they're alive, player outline. They're laying down, they're dead, no player outline. Just saying.
Prone. He managed to lay on the bed in Skyline for like a solid couple minutes before somebody noticed he was even there. Just out in the open, no guns, no nothing. That's a very frustrating experience. We got to do something about that. There are no detailed weapon stats or attachment stats, which is probably great for JGod and Ace and True Game Data that are going to dig all this information out and make videos out of it.
There
But it's
are.
not
They're coming in the full release. There just wasn't in the beta, by the
good
way.
for all of you at home when your gun says, oh, this is purely bonus. There's no downsides. And then for like rapid fire and no stock, there are downsides that just aren't listed.
Yeah.
And you can't really tell what the guns are doing anymore. It's a big step backward in that regard. It's just not
That'll, I
showing
think, get
people the
ironed out, but
information
maybe
that
I'm
they
wrong.
need. Footsteps did not improve from weekend 1 or 2. These
Yes,
are
they
very
did.
inconsistent. Some people are telling me they're very loud.
They
Good
were
for
in
you.
weekend
God
2.
bless you.
I could hear footsteps in weekend 2. I could not in weekend 1.
I barely hear them. I don't know if it's that they're bugged or if there's like a
They're not as loud as
priority
Modern Warfare 3,
problem
though.
with the
That is
audio
true.
engine. We did a whole video about footsteps. Footstep is, I basically don't even use sound to navigate the game because there's no point. Black Ops 6 has lower visibility than usual for a Treyarch game.
I am looking for Shanbu. I am looking forward to Search and Destroy in Black Ops 6.
I wish this wasn't the case, but it is. The maps had more dark areas than I was expecting, and a sort of a generally browner, more grounded color scheme, which led to a lower visibility of enemies. It's still better.
This map, I mean, if you're gonna say that, show Scud in the gameplay when you're saying that the colors aren't very good. Because yeah, for the most part, like Scud, I think Derail was fine. Babylon was a little bit too brown. So yeah, like there was maps, but this is like the worst map you could have shown during
than
that.
average or better than Modern Warfare, which is the sort of the COD standard, but Treyarch has done better on map visibility. Time to kill is very fast, which can be frustrating. More frustrating is that it's inconsistent.
Yes, it's inconsistent, but time to kill is not fast.
Then finally, the last quickie in the bad section, I did a whole video on this one as well. Controller is vastly superior to mouse and keyboard.
I agree with
mouse and
this.
Keyboard feels like an afterthought in this game.
But some people say
Controller
they
is
did good on mouse
100%
and
the way
keyboard,
that
so.
it was meant to be played. I don't like that these two
Oops,
inputs
look at
are
that spawn.
unequal just for the general state of the game. And I don't like it for me because I can't use the controller very much before my hands give out. I really need to do mostly mouse and keyboard. And now we're finally at the good section, which I'm sorry took so incredibly long to get to. It's just, as I said in the beginning, my experience with the Black Ops 6 beta was very negatively marred by optimization and performance issues. So
Yeah,
I
and I
felt like
get
I
that.
spent more time fighting the game than I did playing the game and trying to get good at it and master it. But there are some things about Black Ops 6 that I definitely like, and we're going to go over
Wayne
them
coming
all
in,
here
gifting
and
a
be back
sub.
into the video.
Appreciate
and then a
you,
little
dude.
personal update. So the first good thing is the lobby music is maybe the best it has been since Black Ops 2. I know that's a very minor thing, but man,
The whole video sounds like an old guy yelling at kids for having fun. I think he has some solid points, but again, I find this review interesting because it's the first one we've actually listened at where it sounds like someone legitimately doesn't like the game.
that Black Ops 2 lobby music, that Black Ops 3 lobby music, all of
Even when we watched Big Fry and he said I do not like the game, he also gave a lot of positive points. He just said the game wasn't for him because he likes tactical shooters a little bit more, and I think that's completely understandable. I hate the keyboard and mouse argument only because COD has been and was made for controller first. Not like I'm going to yell at devs of CSGO for how my controller doesn't work compared to it. I mean, it's a solid point, right? It is a solid point.
the Black Ops lobby music lives rent-free in my head. This one for Black Ops 6, instant classic. Instant
Completely agree
banger.
with this.
Sounds fantastic. I just, it's a perfect, like, nostalgic sort of throwback to the older styles, but also
Yeah,
its
the
own
menu
unique thing.
what's it
Love
the
that.
wall.
I can't play it for you because I'll
Jack
probably
Wall.
get a copyright
No, you
strike.
don't. You can play the
Next
menu
thing I love
music.
about Black Ops 6 is the general feel of the new movement and sprint speeds. I believe that they increased movement speed, increased sprinting speed, dashing speed, jumping speed. All the speed is cranked up. It's definitely the fastest Call of Duty.
So the reason why it feels like that is because Infinity Ward fucked up movement so much in Modern Warfare 2 that Modern Warfare 3 had to completely fix it, and then this is like back to like decent movement. Like that's why it feels like that. Don't even get me started about Modern Warfare 2.
Game that I've ever played, and I mean that in a good way because I like fast games. Actually, that's wrong. I love fast games, and
Clearly
I love
you
games
don't,
that
though.
let me go fast and don't inhibit my movement very much. Black Ops 6 is absolutely one of those games. If you want to play cranked, if you want to play cracked out, if you just want to run through this map like Tracer, like a maniac, diving and shooting and
Didn't
sliding,
he just say he didn't like
you
the
can
small maps?
absolutely do that, and the basics of the Omni movement allow you to. The not only this move speed being increased, but the easy climbing, the faster jumping, the sliding, the spin around, the roll on your belly. All of that stuff really works in your favor when you're using it to navigate the map. And I believe that all of the Omni movement stuff contributes to this fantastic feeling of going fast. When the game is working, when it's jiving with you, when it's sort of making sense, it can be very fun. It gives me this Overwatch 1 kind of memory, or maybe a Black Ops 3
4.
kind of memory.
Black Ops 4.
Where I just feel like I am flying through the map like a maniac and hitting all sorts
Oh god,
of
yeah,
little
Frost.
holes
This
and
video is way
dodges
better
and
than the one
slides.
last Monday.
Like I'm playing
He actually
Mirror's
is
Edge,
making
and I've got
sense.
it figured out, and I do a cool dramatic stunt and shoot a guy with 2 guns while flying through the air. Feels fantastic. So when the game is on and you're sort of in the mood to master all
Shadowstorm just said, I feel Black Ops 6 was going to be the first game when I play multiplayer. I don't listen to songs on Spotify. I don't know whether it might be because of footsteps. Maybe.
of the new
I don't know. That's an interesting one.
Optimization's going well. It can feel really, really satisfying in the right situations. Beyond this, the automatic sprint, mantle assist, and crouch assist all have worked very well for me, both on PC and console, and they've made the Omni movement much more approachable and much less difficult to do. I was breaking my fingers, kind of slamming things around earlier, trying to do mouse and keyboard, but mouse and keyboard without the auto mantle assist. But turning on auto mantle and auto crouch and all that made everything just
Yeah,
way
see, for me it was
easier.
auto
Love
tack sprint that
I think
really
it's
fixed it for
fantastic
me.
that you can customize your HUD for the first time ever
Yeah,
in a Call of
that's
Duty
a
game.
no-brainer.
Most of you will have noticed that I decided not to do that. I was very happy with the default HUD, but I did go
Square
play
map.
with some of the
Square
options.
map.
It was very fun. This is something that we should have had years ago.
Agreed.
I absolutely love that Treyarch allows us to have that sort of customization. I think all the animations in the game are really crisp and good looking.
Yes,
I remember when Black Ops
HVT
Cold War
does
came
have
out,
an
we were kinda
outline.
making fun of some of the
That's a good point.
animations.
That's a good point,
All of the
Shambu.
gun weapon animations, the reloading, the handling, the chambering, and especially how they synergize with the crazy spastic movement, all of that looks and feels really good. The guns are going to feel good in your hands. There's great animations for both the characters' movement and for their, not the winner's circle, but their executions and some of their other things. The characters look really good for the most part. And another more meaningful compliment that I will give is that the overall weapon design and gunplay was excellent. It's actually above average for Treyarch standards. Now,
Agreed. I think the last game that had this varied of weapons that performed this well, Black Ops 3, but they also had some pretty powerful weapons in Black Ops 3.
my experience was marred by some lag and some hitching and shaders and textures and whatnot, but even from that experience, I can tell that the weapons in this
Could be
game
Black Ops 4.
are all extremely well designed. They all have a sort of unique feel and play to them. They have different niches, different uses. They're fire.
So this is one thing that I'm worried about with the weapons in Black Ops 6. When they add more weapons, I am worried that the weapons will start to feel more similar. Because we were limited in our weapons, all of the weapons felt different. But you add in another SMG. Is it going to feel like the C9? Is it going to feel like the PDW? I don't know. But it might.
rates and damages are different enough to where every single one feels like its own special little
Agreed.
character that has its unique game.
A great example of this is Destiny. If you've ever played Destiny, all of the weapons feel different. Even hand cannon to hand cannon, there's something about them that feels different. And that's one thing I think so far in Black Ops 6 has been nailed.
I was very happy with the design of all the guns, except the shotguns were a little weak, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Sound effects were good. Hit marker sounds were good. Headshot sounds were good. Everything about fighting and being in a gunfight and moving and tracking and shooting, all of that superbly well done.
Agreed.
I'll also say that Treyarch did a good job on map aesthetics. Those are pretty good. I mentioned there's some visibility problems earlier, but we do keep up the map aesthetic variety that Treyarch is known for. All of the maps are at least visually distinct and interesting and different from one another, so I think that's fantastic. We're not fully 50 Shades of Brown here.
Interesting question. It's hard to make SMGs feel different. Okay, if you've never played Destiny, I mean, there's quite a big barrier to entry, but they do it. They make guns feel different. They do. That's one thing I don't like about X-Defiant. All the guns and sound and feel the same. Yeah, weapon sounds can do that. The way the bullets hit, the amount of recoil. You can make almost each weapon its own character, but it's hard to do. Really hard to do. So far, I believe that they have done this. Does it continue? I don't know. Yeah.
And I can't review other aspects of this game yet because they're not out, but I am looking forward to playing campaign. It looks like a really replayable and fun campaign too, with all the branching paths and secrets and stuff to pick up. Zombies looks really deep, and I'll have plenty of gameplay of that as well when it comes out, so that looks interesting. So even though my review of the multiplayer section has been more negative than anything else, there are other good aspects of this game for you to try if you want to. And I don't mean just different modes.
As I said, this is the first review where we have heard this bad of a review for it. So it's interesting.
Campaign. But there are some really fun things going on with the Omni movement, some neat ideas here. And just a lot of it didn't translate well to me because the optimization was so messed up and it was so hard to play. I'm really genuinely hoping that when the full game comes out, all of those bugs have been fixed and it's a nice, smooth, fun experience. And I don't even think about this, and I look back on it and feel silly and be like, oh, Drifter, you jumped the gun. You were criticizing a beta for no reason. They ran the beta to get, to understand these problems and fix them up. I hope that's what's going to happen. But a
lot of people are wishing they had search in the beta.
I don't think that's the highest probability experience for me. So moving now to the end of the video, I want to talk about my personal feelings about this game and how much I'm going to play it. The short version is I'm probably not going to play very much if the optimization isn't fixed. I'm not building a whole new PC for the fourth year in a row.
You shouldn't have to.
Just to play Call of Duty.
Again, he's like the only person I've heard experiencing that.
Definitely going to give it another shake. Definitely going to try to be more positive. But if I can't play the game without stutters and hitching and packet bursts and freezing,
so to me, like the optimization part of it is stutters, hitching, and packet bursts. Like need to be fixed for launch.
To even get it to boot on some of my machines, then that's going to be an exercise in madness to pursue. Definitely going to play some campaign and zombies. And the other thing that worries me is that even for Black Ops 6, if everything goes great and the optimization is fixed, and I could just get this experience of running around the map like Sonic the Hedgehog, just shooting people with akimbo pistols, I have to be serious that this game extracts a heavy toll from me to play because of how demanding the movement is on PC. And we're not going to get into my health problems too much, but I've got bad hands, weak hands. It's very hard to work controllers, and mouse and keyboard's not super easy. The more twitchy, the more button presses, the more fast-paced the game, obviously the worse this is. This has been the most demanding thing for me in a long time. More than the finals, more than Splitgate, more than other kind of bouncy games. More than Splitgate. So I don't know, even if everything is fixed, if I'm going to be able to play without making a considerable improvement to my health and strength.
You're saying that it's a beta argument doesn't apply when there's 4 years of dev time? Okay, I'm going to let Drifter finish, and then I'm going to tell you why that's an L take.
In a short amount of time. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to be able to be as active in this game as I need to be, which puts me in a bad spot because this is still, I'm doing a lot of other content, but still technically a gaming channel. And more specifically, I'm a Call of Duty content creator. COD is my bread and butter. This is the #1 thing that I should be doing. And I'm being put in a position where Call of Duty, as of right now, is not tenable for my hardware, my PCs, or my body, being my hands. Like,
so yeah, again,
if it's
specific
crash
case
and
with
my
Drifter.
PCs, then I can't play it. And if it's going to tax my hands too much, I can't play it. I genuinely want to be able to just lay down and have a good time playing Call of Duty and kind of, be successful on YouTube, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing here and what the algorithm wants me to do. But it's not looking tenable at the moment. If we can fix optimization, or if hands can get better, if I can fix one or the other, I can go back and play.
I truly
some COD.
believe the
I can't do
optimization will
bad
be
hands
better at
and
launch. Maybe not
bad PC
perfect, but
crashes.
better.
Like, that's just the worst of all the worlds. So really hoping it shapes up a bit before the final review. But it's looking like a challenging fall for me to cover Call of Duty. And hey, if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to check out that Discord or the Blame review that's coming later.
Yeah, go check out Drifter's channel. He's a goat. He's a Call of Duty legend, has been around the community for a long, long time. Now, Optic OP new. You said the It's a Beta doesn't apply because of the 4-year dev time. Also, you said because networking, COD uses the same networking system for most of their games, and the engine is also the same. Okay, this is why this is an L take. First of all, camera, fix yourself. Why were we so blown out? Do I need to move? I'll move. This is why this is an L take. Number one, it's still a new game. You can say that it's the same networking, it's the same thing. It's still a new game, and they haven't put out a game and worked on the servers for a long time. So not only does the networking have to work with the networking, the game has to work with the networking as well. I'll come back to that. I am not even going to go into the 4-year dev cycle because it wasn't a traditional 4-year dev cycle. They were working on other things the entire time, but I'm going to leave that aside. Whether you're working on a game for 4 years or 40 years, okay, 40 years is too much, 4 years or 8 years like Concord, betas exist because no matter how many QA testers you have, it is not going to compare to the millions of people you will get with an open beta. That does server stress tests. That tests how your game works with the servers. That tests the optimization and is quite literally an impossible test to get from QA testing. Impossible. You just don't have the numbers. So the whole it's a beta argument needs to happen at Call of Duty at this point. I hope that makes sense. I hope that I'm not just being a shill for this take, but like it's a different test than internal testing. It has to be. Anyway, that's the end of that. Let's play some Warzone. I did not even know. What is with my camera? Simmer down there, camera. It was a little bright for you? Like, Jesus. So I think all of the big issues that Drifter just mentioned can be ironed out. If there was legitimate problems with the gunplay and the way that the game flowed and things like that, I don't think so. Spawns, 100% can be fixed. Packet burst, hopefully. Networking, 100%. Hitching, that's optimization, 100%. Those are the things that can be fixed. The gameplay as a whole, if there's a problem with that, like for example, when Infinite Warfare came out and everyone's like, fuck advanced movement. Yeah, you're not fixing that before launch. You're not redoing the entire game. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, we're going to do a couple of games of Warzone Open Lobby, and then I'm going to finish things up, and then I got to go make a video. So let's go do that.